Today we are reviewing an exclusive vehicle that you asked me to review. You always wanted to see an Alpina review on Autogefuehl, and today we have it here for you with the BMW Alpina B3 GT. What exactly is it? And is it a better M3, so to speak? Or is it a better M340i or something in between? And what are they doing at this moment? And what about the future of Alpina inside the BMW brand? Because also huge changes coming up as for this respect. All about Alpina today here with Thomas and Autogefuehl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. First of all, here with the vehicle, the Alpina B3 GT, so to speak a 3 Series, but then a little bit pimped up, and we can already see it here in the front with the spoilers, lower Alpina bumper there. This is also the custom work. And then you also get custom paints. In this case here, this is Daytona purple, but you can get many more custom paints. And you can see here from the front grille, vertical fins, also wide. This is not a BMW M3 grille, because indeed the chassis base for this one here is a BMW M340i. That about the base chassis, yes. But engine-wise will be a different topic, soon more to that. First of all, towards the side profile. Typical for Alpina is this multi-spoke design here, and this is pretty cool. You also get here the golden wheels, and when you see this wheel design here with the many spokes, you directly see, okay, it's an Alpina. It's one of their trademarks. You can also see bigger brakes are being applied, and Alpina logo also inside of the wheels, actually badge on the outside, and here the nice contrasting brake calipers. That's pretty lovely. And also here more golden details here with this wrap that also goes around the side of the vehicle to make it a little bit more special. And they have added more things actually. They have put an own suspension in this vehicle, own springs and a suspension setup. And the theme of this vehicle is not to be even sportier than the BMW M3. They say, hey, it's a GT. It's supposed to have the power of an M3, but the ride comfort of an M340i, or maybe even better, we'll find out on the road and on the racetrack here for you. They even have a Comfort Plus setting to be more comfortable. But then, of course, once again, a sporty setting. This is also an adaptive suspension. They also put in here the own transmission. And their philosophy is also to do some kind of over-engineering. The transmission here put in this vehicle, although it's a 6-cylinder, is a transmission for an 8-cylinder to be like over-dimensioned, so to speak. And then they say, that's why our custom-built vehicles also hold longer, because we put the parts actually that would not need to be in there, but we still put them in there, you know. Maybe like the philosophy that Mercedes had like in the, you know, like 1970s or 1980s or something like that. Very interesting approach, definitely, isn't it? They also put an own exhaust system in here. However, here, the Autogefuehl fake exhaust police also sees that at Alpina, the real exhaust on the inside. The outer part is just a tip. Then also a custom diffuser in the lower part. And yeah, this about the foot kick sensor for the trunk. They obviously also have that, and it's opening when you wipe your hand underneath it. Yeah, classic live on tape here with Autogefuehl, always the most authentic impressions for you. Then Alpina lettering here on the left side and the B3 badge on the right side, together with an attached small wing, but still it has an elegance. Once again, supposed to be a GT and not just a boy racer, you know what I mean? So they really try to keep the elegance. And as for the engine concept and philosophy, that even gets more interesting, because, you know, when I grew up and I had like the magazines with the tuning cars in there and so on, I always then thought, yeah, Alpina is something that just comes on top of the M3. And once again, as I said, not in terms of being better for the racetrack, they find their own setup. So remember, chassis from a M340i, but the engine indeed from the M3. So this is not the B58, but the S58, so no mild hybrid system here for this one. Then this is like the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder. Wow, it's like really nice here with the additional dome struts. Look at that for, you know, more chassis rigidity. Then you also have this number plate here with all the signatures and so on. And this one delivers from the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder 530 horsepower. Well, not exactly, because on paper they always need to be like 1 or 2 horsepower less than the M3. That's what it says in their contract. But they're allowed to give it more Newton meters of torque. So 650 for the M3, 730 Newton meters of torque here for the B3 GT. And they also are a little bit quicker in the acceleration figure. It's 3.4 seconds to 1 kilometers an hour instead of 3.5 seconds with the M3. And that also means a full second quicker than the M340i. And then also how, you know, like they handle the curve, the RPM and the torque and so on. So they actually want you to have more power from low RPM. So whereas an M3 would also be working better on the racetrack where you have high RPM all the time, they say we rather see our customers on the German Autobahn, for example, and not driving like, you know, like this next corner and this next corner and then high RPM, but also that you have like very good torque from low RPM area. That is where they actually put their emphasis on. It's a good remark by Leah that always when you refill the wiper fluid here, there we go, then you always see the nice engine design. So probably you will refill the wiper fluid very often. The B3, by the way, is also available as the Touring, the estate version. So if you rather would prefer this, actually, what do you think? And here, to be very exact, these are 20 spokes. And here with this model here, I can also turn them. That looks pretty cool, right? So yeah, really amazing. And originally, why did they do it the way they did it here? It came from motorsports, because by that you could save weight. At the same time, you could get stability. And this one, the large one, is a forged wheel nowadays, by the way. But if we go back to the past, always 20 spokes. This here for BMW E30, also one of my favorite BMW models, and way, way, way smaller, but even smaller when we go to the end of the 1960s, beginning of the 1970s, here from a BMW E9. Look at that size difference from that age and then 50 years later to that. Like, where have we gone with the wheel sizes? Let's take a look at the interior now. First of all, we have a key fob here also with a replaced logo, where usually the BMW logo would be, and this is also where you close the vehicle then as well. And we have this, yeah, this key fob accessory, for example. Then door closing sound for the doors. Nice and solid, as we're used to from the 3 Series. Then inside of the doors, if everything wrapped here, of course. Just the lower part with the 3 Series here also in the front is always hard plastic and no covering at the inside of the doors. This may be something that Alpina also could have done when BMW is missing that. Then we have the GT entry badge. This one here, in contrast to the M3, supposed to be a GT. And also, yeah, wait a minute here, for the floor mats, also then a special badge here in the front. So also contrast stitches around the side. Then at the steering wheel, they replace the logo BMW with Alpina then, and also the GT badge in the lower part and a flat bottom here. And we still have real knobs at the steering wheel. And you can see already here, even when the screen is, so to speak, yeah, almost off, or like the screensaver mode, you have like your personalization. And then the seats, they would actually standard come with the new PerformTex microfibre, so that is available. This one here is the optional animal skin package. This is something, of course, they have been in like from the traditional manufacturing they do, and I hope that also Alpina maybe uses the animal skin alternatives in the future. But at least they have the PerformTex as standard available. It's a new microfiber material that is introduced with the 3 Series very recent facelift, and it's actually a little bit thicker. I had like a test material at home, ordered that, and I was pretty convinced of that. So I actually would advise you to go for that one, no matter if you go for an Alpina or also for the normal 3 Series. Because here also the animal skin is a little bit stiffer to sit on, not that comfortable actually. Also the BMW SensorTech would be actually more comfortable to sit in. And then here, headroom 189, 6'2", some headroom left, and the steering wheel is really thick. It has more like an M3 style, so to speak. Manual up and down, in and out. And what I really love are these custom-made shifting pedals here. You can see them. They have like this matte structure and feel to it, and also a good shifting feedback and so on. And yeah, I think we're gonna use them later on for sure. Cockpit overview, what can we find here? First of all, we have a lot of carbon fiber, and then here also nice detail, they cut that out and also put their small Alpina logo in there. And we also have here more carbon fiber in the middle console. So it looks also pretty fancy and reduces the amount of high gloss black in this vehicle. Then we have this additional plate here to give you more exclusivity. And although they take modern 3 Series here, there's a difference. So the very recent facelift usually has here the integrated shifting lever. This one here still has a shifting lever that stands on top. But as I explained to you earlier, they use a transmission of an 8-cylinder, so to speak. And that's why I also have like a different shifting lever here. And it's also, yeah, it gives you more or less sporty, classic styling feeling than it would be integrated. But then again, some other things of the modern vehicles they overtake because they take the basis here, like the dual screen format, 2 monitors, and also the climate unit is no more. That has already been the case since the very first facelift of 3 Series in this generation. So the climate unit all on the screen, soon more to that. Middle console, nice quality, and here also you've slided open, more space, USB-C charger. You can, however, control the infotainment system still from below here with this turning and pressing knob. They have also kept that here in the 3 Series. That's actually pretty nice. And by the way, the glove box also slides down smoothly, so that's fine. Also how it's integrated from the gaps and so on. By the way, here in the head restraint, we also have a GT stitching. So once again, here and there, we find some small details. With 189, 6x2, I still have enough headroom left here. And what I always appreciate about the 3 Series is that we still here have the design element of past BMWs here with this BMW angel wings design. You know, that's what I always find pretty lovely. In the front, by the way, slide this open, adaptive cup holders. The inductive charging pad is not cooled, however, so the phones will overheat there. This is a massive problem, so rather use than the normal charging. Yeah, but then the cable connection is only for charging. The connection to the Apple CarPlay Android Auto is always wireless, enforced wireless at BMW, sadly. Then the driver POV, I really appreciate that we can switch the volume here still with physical dials on the steering wheel, and then here the shifting pedals. Yeah, they look really cool, don't they? Here once again a look here at the digital instruments, and when I start the engine, then it looks like this. And on the right side, the infotainment system. Here with this somehow overloaded view, as we know from BMW. And then here for the climate unit plus minus. It's easy to do, but then, yeah, I mean, that's probably like to rest your hand. Not ideal, I found. The physical dials were just better. I think we can all agree on that, can't we? And we also have a head-up display. It's not flickering, it's just on camera, by the way. Rear seats, they have wrapped everything from the inside, from the doors. Just here the lower part is, like with all 3 Series here, just the hard plastic in the lower part. And they have also here special floor mats for the rear, and also with these badges here, Alpina B3 GT, so that's a lovely element as well. And well, the rear seating in the 3 Series is nothing special when you have a tall driver in front of you. So you see it hardly fits here with the legroom, not the best usage of space, just the headroom here with 189 6x2, that always works. And here we can fold out either the ski hatch to load things through, or here then the cup holders with these rubber lips here. Yeah, but the thing is, here in the mid-size sedan segment, usually not too much legroom. When you have these platforms, that's also housing 6-cylinder engines, because there you always have the long hood. It's always some kind of a compromise then with the rear legroom here. 2 USB-C chargers in the middle part. You also have here your own climate unit when everything's on, and huge middle tunnel as usual. Trunk or boot, have they done anything special there? Let's take a look here. Then we can see cabin trolley fits in vertically, of course, classic 3 Series trunk. And then here we have this nice cover here, this floor mat basically in the trunk. It's the Stitch logo on there. It's also high floor, feels really nice. That adds some more exclusive feeling to it. 1 meter or 40 inches in width there between the wheel arches, and the length here is like 1 meter and 5 or 41 inches. And to fold it, of course, here, releasing it, and then, well, we have to go around. There we go. And by the way, of course, the height also here is 50 centimeters or 20 inches. Very interesting, by the way, here, when I fold the seats here for the trunk, that way it works, even though if I'm driving as a tall driver, But here, when the head restraint is folded up, then it would not work. So this is a clever idea to do it in that way here from BMW. By that you can easily fold it, and otherwise you fold up when you really want to use it. Also here for the view to the rear, when you're driving without rear passengers, stays fold down, better view. Launch control. Woo! It's so nice here to have the 3-liter 6-cylinder, beautiful. And now we're hitting the racetrack here on Mallorca. Very tight racetrack indeed. And I'm in the Sport Plus, and I have the ESC Sport mode actually. So let's see what we can score with that one. And in front of us, by the way, is an E92 B3 GT3, so also beautiful vehicle indeed. And yeah, we also have great performance here, 530 horse, 529 to be exact. Here, look at that. Can play a little bit with the vehicle. So here on the racetrack, it lets you to be aggressive indeed. And especially in the ESC Sport mode, you can play a little bit here. And yeah, it was really cool. Have you seen how loose it got actually in the first place? That is a really astonishing thing, isn't it? Steering feel, as we know from the 3 Series, could be a little bit better. Here the Alpina guys, they worked a little bit on the steering feel. I do like that, but in general, the 3 Series steering feel could indeed be better, I feel, actually. So it doesn't give you the most natural feeling. There actually, Audi and Mercedes, the competitors, are better in the steering feel. Meanwhile, really good here. I have good control over the vehicle. It feels really compact, and it's actually astonishing. Like in the ESC Sport mode, it feels more loose than I actually thought. So yeah, really have to pay attention to that. Of course, all-wheel drive, that pulls me also out of the corner in the front right there. And then let's see here on the gas, hard. Nice. So that's really cool. Enjoying that. So I mean, this engine here is really a gem, definitely. Then let's see here, tighter corner. Suspension actually, set it here in the Sport Plus mode, is a little bit stiffer than usual. Of course, here on the racetrack we can't really test about the comfort. We do it later on the track. Hard on the brakes here, they have put the performance brake on it, and it feels actually also kind of this, yeah, like really unique. I would say indeed the driving characteristics more to the 340i engine and more to the M3, but they have tuned it in a way that it is not laid out for the racetrack, this engine, but it clearly works. It's more like that the engine is better for motorway driving and so on, because for the racetrack the M3 would actually be better, you know, like just from the, deactivate the speed limit here, because no, I deactivate the speed limit because the car thought it's 50 kilometers an hour here, map wise, but of course there's no speed limit here whatsoever. There we go. So actually for this track here, it's a very tight track, it handles very well, and the good thing is really that it's not too large, not too heavy and so on. You know, cars getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and that's a good thing to have something that still can handle that. And yeah, most of the cars we've driven recently on the racetrack, most of them were actually heavier. A lot of different episodes are to come there also racetrack wise. This will be super interesting. Here you can also smoothly get out of the corner once again. A little bit on the brakes here. There we go. I mean, you slide a lot on these animal skin seats though. Here once again hard on the gas. 160 kilometers an hour. So on this surface here, it's not really a racy surface. You sweat on it a lot, and also you slide on it a lot because it's kind of like a slick surface, you know. So yeah, that's the thing a little bit. So cannot recommend them for the racetrack, nor for the normal track. So I think they should also rather go with the PerformTex that they also offer then as standard in the B3. Customers also should stick with that. Beautiful, especially how I can get it out of the corner here. That's actually pretty cool. There we go. Yeah, a little bit loose here in the rear. Nice S combination here now, look at that. There we go. But I really have to say the steering feel is actually what the car is lacking most. It's not exactly an Alpina thing, it's more like a BMW thing, which is like continuing through the whole 3 Series. They really need to rework that probably with the next generation. I mean, after all, it's also a software tune, so I think, yeah, it just feels a little bit loose and contactless. That's about the steering, you know. But the rest of the car feels really nice, and yeah, astonishing that I can play with it more than I thought here, especially when you are in the EC Sport mode. You could also put the EC completely off. If you are like a professional race driver, then you could also do like drift things and something like that. Yeah, but I think that's definitely fine. Definitely for me here, for our purposes, definitely. Woo! There we go.
My hair was like, ooh.
Yeah. That's the launch control. Also works here when you're in this manual shifting area, plus EC Sport and so on. But we go to EC On again. This like
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is right. It's nice.
Yeah.
Not too extreme, but really powerful, definitely. And here on the road, and we also take on the motorway and some B roads and so on, we also want to find out more about this comfort thing of this vehicle. So that was Sport Plus mode, but we can also go to the comfort mode. The suspension is a little bit more forgiving. There are, as we have shown to you, 20-inch wheels on this vehicle. So let's see how they play out. As for the comfort, also will when we have some potholes and so on. But yes, probably no one will take this one on the racetrack, although it does work definitely, but they will use it in their everyday driving life, as we do right now. When the road is even, so far nice and smooth. We start in the comfort mode. The steering is rather softened in the comfort mode, and it applies what applies to all 3 Series. I feel that the steering feel is a little bit off, and also a lot of 3 Series owners have confirmed that also to us, that they feel the same way. It's not too bad, but in a way you sometimes feel that I don't know, you know, it could be better. So here, like in this area, not too much is happening. Then it's maybe too progressive at the side, you know what I mean? So it's not the best natural steering feeling, especially not in the comfort mode. It's a little bit better in the sport mode. By the way, if you are in the comfort mode, you can of course use the pin down, but when you go to the sport mode, then you have just, you know, better throttle input, more power available. Let's see. So that was 60 to 120 kilometers an hour, easily delivered, and really nice from that one. Pretty cool. Now let's try to feel with the sport mode here. So remember that feeling, like how stiff it is? Sport mode now. I mean, now the road is pretty even here on the motorway and so on. Let's see, feel. Now I'm switching to the comfort mode. What would you say?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit different. And then there's also this so-called Comfort Plus mode, so even more comfortable. So they have that here exclusively. Yeah, and I mean,
That's different.
it's
Yeah.
actually pretty cool. So you have 20-inch wheels here, and you also feel that. You feel that you have a sporty vehicle, but it is indeed different to the M3. So the M3, you know, yeah, you have that sporty vehicle, but then you also lose comfort in your everyday driving. That's definitely like that. So suspension setting is more like in the 340i, but yeah, I would say, I mean, although they have the big wheels here, it's actually quite okay. I'm looking forward to how it is then with potholes and so on, but it really feels nice. And good motorway vehicle, definitely. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So when I'm only slightly on the throttle, that's what they say about like this low RPM area, that you already have more Newton meters of torque than there. That's interesting. So
It's like this ASMR thing.
yeah, this growling. So you have like this growling sound from the engine, but not in a high ref way, you know? You already have it earlier. So when I'm just slightly on the throttle, and like the vibration also goes to the seat.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And you you don't have that neither in the 340i nor in the M3. So that's a setting I really appreciate, because that's all what I always say about when you drive engines that are still like, you know, 6-cylinder or maybe 8-cylinder and so on, that I always prefer these when they are somewhat, yeah, also that you can use the power at low RPM and not always like, hey, like I'm the quickest everywhere and I want to go racing everywhere. No, you can have this power, but already when maybe you don't really need it, you know, just I have it, and you're slightly on the throttle and you're enjoying this sonorous sound. And yeah, what we would say in Germany is like Laufkultur. It's like the running culture of the engine, so to speak. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really like this Comfort Plus mode, actually, that we have good suspension comfort. At the same time, it's not in a way that the car would be shaking or something, you know, even if I do something crazy on the steering wheel. So it's still very calm and collected. And let's say even in the Comfort Plus mode, the vehicle is sporty enough. And I think that's the important thing here. Here now in the roundabout a little bit there. Let's see here, steering feel. Yeah, here sometimes there it's a little bit loose also, so to speak. So a little bit more feedback from the steering would actually be better, I feel. Let's try it here once again in the sport mode. What about the steering feedback? It's maybe a little bit, but yeah, that's the thing. It's really across the 3 Series portfolio that you don't have the best steering feel here. By the way, speed limit warning deactivated. Press and hold the set button. That's a good shortcut that BMW has. Hardly anyone knows that. And oh, woo, blop, 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 blop. So when you go off the throttle, then you have this blop, 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 blop. That's pretty cool, right? Really like that. Very, very nice. So that was again Sport Plus. Let's go to the comfort setting once again. Of course, you can, at the same time, when you are driving in the Comfort Plus mode, then you say, hey, I want to do some quick overtaking. Then here use shifting pedals, for example. Oh, they're really delivering nicely, good feeling for that. Then you are in the lower gear. Really nice. Yeah, it's a very cultivated sound. Not too much, not too little. I think they really hit it there, that you have just the right sound that you actually need. Nice also and fun when doing the lane changes here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I really like the suspension setup. I also like that they have like this this torque upgrade for the engine, but it's really astonishing. So the M3, for example, feels way more aggressive. It feels more like I gotta, you know, fight the track immediately. I gotta go to the racetrack and you know, race all the way through. That's the M3. And the 340i is from the characteristic more like this one. More like, yeah, I have more power, but most of the time probably I don't intend to use it, although I could use it and so on. And this is also what I feel here, just that they have this more power, you know, and these more power reserves. So pretty cool. I really like this philosophy, because when I'm driving it here on the motorway or just, you know, around the city in the town and so on, I don't actually always want that I'm gonna go racing, you know. So this more cultivated setup, the more drawn back setup. At the same time, you even have more power, although you don't feel it. That's what's the interesting thing what they did here. So, and yeah, we really have to see about the future of Alpina, if something like this will also be offered under the BMW official umbrella. It's not quite certain yet, or if they rather want to focus only on these you know, high-end luxury things and so on. Got to really see about that. But I would hope that maybe something like this is being offered. Yeah, also when you're just driving slowly here and there in the roundabout, is also when you are on the throttle, you have like the high torque available, but at the same time the throttle input is also not in a way that you would be, for example, surprised by the vehicle, you know. And here, when we also have some, you know, sometimes uneven roads here and there, or when you're stuck in traffic, you rather stay calm in this vehicle. And
It's very silent in here.
yeah, it's actually well done. Also from the insulation on the motorway, it also wasn't too loud and so on. And usually what you have that with with very sporty vehicles, for example, that maybe you have the sports version and you are like this all the time, you know, and you want to drive faster. But here you can actually do both. So I think it's a great idea of an, let's say, upgraded Autobahn cruiser here. We are on Mallorca here today, beautiful island, of course. We can't drive too quick on the motorway. That's why we also had the racetrack driving part here for you today, that we can show you more of the performance there. And here use that one that we can more tell you about the everyday driving life features. And yeah, that's definitely very, very interesting. So yeah, I cannot say, stress enough that the setup, like the niche they found here is super, super interesting. Pricing at 102,000 euros here is like 3,000 euros less expensive than an M3. Then this one here, fully equipped, is 125, 127,000 euros as it stands here right now. And then it's actually clearly cheaper than an equipped M3. And the entry is about 25,000 euros more expensive than the M340i. So indeed, that also, you can say that pricing-wise, if you spec these vehicles, this is also between the M340i and the M3. So indeed, like this positioning in between. And since this also comes with a lot of included equipment, also with the 20-inch wheels and so on, you can say that this is, considering the extra work that went into this vehicle, in comparison, a relatively good deal. Of course, always at a very high level, because, you know, like over 100,000 euros is not achievable for everyone. And also they don't focus so much on leasing deals. It is more about that they, you know, like most customers actually buy and keep the vehicles, so to speak. So, and then what are they doing at this moment and what will they do in the future? So until the end of 2025, they will get the vehicles from BMW, then build it in their small manufacturing plant in Europe, like here the 3 Series and also the 4 Series, for example. That's more like the European thing. And on the Northern American market, you might have seen that they are already included in the configurator, because the handling there is being done by BMW of Northern America. And also in the Spartanburg plant, where they, for example, make the Alpina version of the X7, there they directly do it in the plant with their people. And this is also something that will rather be the future concept, because already a couple of years ago, BMW bought the brand rights of Alpina, and Alpina themselves, they will stop manufacturing the cars and BMW will take over at that point. It's a similar story that we, for example, see with Mercedes AMG. AMG was on their own before. Then at some point Mercedes bought AMG and then included them in their model portfolio. And the same will also happen here to the Alpina brand. So what we now see on the Northern American market, that you can directly have it in the BMW configurator that's done in the plant, is, so to speak, the same that will also happen to the European models then. And how BMW exactly will position these models, that remains to be seen. What I at the moment expect is that we'll rather use Alpina as a kind of like exclusive top of the line thing that they will also especially offer for the luxury vehicles. If they will still offer it here for the mid-size vehicles, which are not that expensive, is unsure yet at this moment. So it can very well be that the car that we see here right now, which is this very interesting proposition, is very, very rare and will become even more rare. And this might be the very last time we can actually do something like this here. So that has to be considered. Of course, we will keep you updated also with the further development of Alpina and what BMW exactly wants to do with these vehicles. Yeah, that is a very, very interesting journey definitely they are taking. And so on the one hand, we will probably see more Alpina reviews in Autogefuehl because they will be integrated in BMW, but it's not certain yet if it will be something like this, or what I rather expect, like this exclusive version of a 7 Series and then once again of the X7 and so on, so high-end top luxury and so on, that they can also compete, for example, with Bentley and have something exactly below Rolls-Royce in that very respect. And if you wonder, by the way, why can't I get a B3, so a 3 Series from Alpina in the Northern American market? The reason is they could not build so many vehicles that they could fulfill the demand for that. That is actually the reason. Yeah, and that was obviously another reason why BMW wanted to take over and also use that potential. But what you can already buy right now is our Autogefuehl merchandise. Check out our shop as well. Here, this proposition here and the thought about having a GT and something between 340i and M3 is very interesting. On the other hand, you can also say, yeah, isn't that what the M340i shouldn't be standing for? Then again, this one gets the M3 engine. So it is somewhat very niche, but definitely a very interesting proposition. Or what do you think? Or would you rather prefer an M3 or a 340i?